Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's going to be WickedBot taking on a lot of people's favorite bot, ANIBot. The Terran bot, known for having a lot of different styles and being pretty well-rounded, even taking down -0 in one of the previous videos I did. So WickedBot may have its hands full here today, but we'll see how the rapidly improving Terran bot can do. Before we get too far into this one, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to go ahead, click that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As, yeah, we put out daily videos here on the channel. And let's just see where this one's going as far as the production tab goes. Not a lot being produced other than the fact that Andybot is going for a full wall on the top, which is usually indicative of a 2-gas play, but the rules are a little bit different in bot games. Having a solid wall can definitely be a bit of a catch-all as far as dealing with worker rushes, that kind of thing too, if you're a bot author. Although I'm honestly not sure how the timing on that one works out. But yeah, I will just take a minute to say, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you have any feedback for these videos, for my setup, particularly since I just moved, you know, things get bumped, things get changed. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, I just always appreciate your guys' feedback, as a lot of the times if there's like an audio setting or I'm observing like a jackass, that kind of thing, pardon my language, I sometimes need someone to let me know type thing. So your comments are appreciated in that regard. And then if you do want, and then if you're a bot author and you want to send me replays, feel free, as it definitely does help having replays sent that authors think are interesting. We do have a Reaper now skirmishing with a Marine. WickedBot is pretty consistent with opening up with these Reapers. It does take a dangerous path through some SCVs, however the SCVs do not engage it. The Reaper is really fearing this Marine, which it shouldn't be, because one Reaper beats one Marine on paper. However, yeah, the Reaper is definitely programmed with some caution in mind. A Hellion pops out for ANIBot, and the Reaper does get ended. Now, as far as the builds go, there's not too much in it. Looks like we're getting a mech out of ANIBot, and then WickedBot is just going for its regular timed base 2-1-1 build. As far as I know, WickedBot just has one build, which I think is definitely reasonable to do when, like, it's definitely reasonable to have just one build in your bot when you're doing a lot of the legwork. Like, I think it's fair that you could improve so many things just off the back of one build that adding in extra builds is not necessarily a sign of a fully or well-developed bot. As there definitely is an argument to be made that a bot that does one thing well, what's that Bruce Lee saying or whatever, the man who practices 10,000 kicks or one kick 10,000 times type thing. Yeah, I think that rings true a little bit to this. I mean, maybe we'll see WickedBot get some more builds if, say, it makes it into pro bots or something like that, because that's where there's definitely more motivation from bot authors to have some more diverse builds so they can't be sniped as easily. Now let's see here, as we do just have WickedBot going for this bio production, getting Marauders on the way. Now, I think that might be a thing that's different between human games and bot games, in that I'm not sure that a human player without speed mining can be producing Marauders out of that barracks, get up a third command center this quickly, while also pulling off the 2-1-1 build, as the speed mining definitely helps with that. A lot of people ask, how does speed mining work? And I usually sort of answer it wrong, but the gist of it is that the SCVs are given a new move command to basically manually move them into the command center, manually get them up to to the mineral patch to remove the natural deceleration. Did I do that right, YouTube comments? Did I describe it right? Definitely is on my list of things to do when I'm not so busy, to make some shorts, for example, that might describe some of the key features of bots. I do want to do interviews with bot authors at some point here on the channel. I think that would be something that would be very fun to do, and I'm sure I will at some point. But for now, I need to spend most of my time doing statics homework. Let's see now, as this game is going to get exciting. We have WickedBot going for that first drop into the main base of ANIBot. SCVs could be in trouble. A tank pops out at the perfect timing for ANIBot, though. It sieges right on up, and so that is going to force the bio away. Some SCVs definitely died during that, though. 5 in total. The drop... it wouldn't be a WickedBot drop if there wasn't a little bit of back and forth, so it is going to try and unload. However, there's quite a mobile force for ANIBot in order to respond to this, and good programming by ANIBot in order to answer this drop. Now, usually there is another drop not too far behind, so we'll keep eyes out for that. ANIBot being played a little bit as its units just keep going back and forth due to this drop. However, that Marine actually does go down, so there's not going to be any more of that. We do have some more units unloading. Maybe a reactor could be picked off potentially, or an SCV, and extra factory may be delayed as WickedBot does continue on with this skirmishing. The third base is done for both of these bots, or pardon me, just about done here for ANIBot. And then we do have Cyclones now being added in for the Red Terran. We've seen how powerful Cyclones can be in the hands of bots. This reactor may actually end up burning soon enough if that Marauder gets to fire some more shots off. I think it's got to be like 1 or 2 shots away from burning. But now we see WickedBot potentially unloading some more units. They were going to head towards that third base, which would be a very nice target. Instead, the drop is going to go back into the main, try and get some more SCVs, definitely disrupting the mining of their opponent a little bit, but we do see the math kind of changes there as some of that, as the bio just lifts on out of there. And that's probably the right decision. Sometimes bio can trade out decently with Hellions, but there is quite a bit of supply for ANIBot. We do see that reactor being repaired now. How many SCVs have died to these drops? Only 9. ANIBot's production may have been paused for a little bit. It's also going for the planetary at the third base, which will weaken its economy overall compared to WickedBot, which has the extra mules, which will allow it to throw more bio at its enemy. We are having yet another drop queued on up for WickedBot as Marines are unloading at the back of this base. Just a few more SCVs going down. Looks like one of those Liberators will get killed, and it does. However, then Cyclones and Hellions are responding, and we see how much damage those Cyclones do to Medivacs. They pick them off quite quickly. And so that's very nice for ANIBot in order to try and shut these drops down. And oh, this one could be shut down hard. Yeah, one Medivac dies. Another one barely escapes. Don't go back on in, man. You gotta wait a second. Wait for your opponent's army to path on out of there. As, yeah, that was quite risky for WickedBot. Looks like we are having that drop move home. And while the new one moves on out, so it seems that WickedBot kind of just likes to have one drop going at a time. Meanwhile, the 4th command center for WickedBot is building, and I wonder where it's going to float to. Is it going to float towards the right or towards the north? Meanwhile, there's another drop going off inside the main, so a few more SCVs are going to die. ANIBot does respond in a rather timely fashion, though, so bringing the whole army back. Marines unloading into a Liberator is never good. A full Medivac perishes, so that's quite painful. WickedBot's base does float to the right, so I really liked that command center placement. Not building it on location, but building it in a bit more of a safer location than just floating it over. Marines still unloading into this Liberator is quite painful, as there's only one Marine. He's like, please no, don't do it. Don't unload me into the Liberator, man. Okay, WickedBot now getting up its own 4th base, turning it into a planetary. We are getting a 5th command center on the way for the Blue Terran, and ANIBot is still just presently on 3 bases. So the 4th base for the Red Terran, quite delayed. Upgrades, meanwhile, are looking good for WickedBot. 2-2 on the way, no such upgrades started for ANIBot. And we'll see whether these drops can just keep distracting ANIBot, preventing it from actually moving out and attacking, as that definitely can be a winning strategy. Marines, again, being unloaded into Liberators is very painful. A full Medivac does go down once more, and then, oh, don't drop back into those Liberators. It's a killing zone. Bots are going to do bot things, ladies and gentlemen, as more units are being brought up. Oh man, WickedBot is really contributing a lot of resources to this, and it is not going too well. So ANIBot is doing a phenomenal job shutting this down. We are getting Vikings added in for WickedBot, potentially just to deal with the Liberators. The Cyclones, I think, will be a big concern, just how well the bots control those. And of course, tanks as well. For now, though, both of these bots are approaching 200 supply. And then ANIBot is saying remove defensive mines, so it could be getting aggressive here unless there's a bit of a drop to actually pull it back. And yeah, it looks like ANIBot just moving up towards the front, getting a fusion core just chilling on 3 bases. Finally, the 4th base will start for ANIBot. This is incredibly late. WickedBot's economy is quite superior with a 5th base already done. We are getting another drop inside the main base. Will the Liberator actually go down this time? Yes, it does. And this is going to pull all the army of ANIBot home. If only the Medivacs were a bit more careful, as those Cyclones do dispatch them quite easily. And yeah, WickedBot does notably continue to keep dropping the same location. It might have been better if it had tried to drop the natural while this was going on or something like that. Not that the drops aren't getting anything done, just it is quite risky. A couple Marauders run into some tanks. That was a bold move. Another drop going into the main base, and ANIBot's going to have to go all the way around again to answer to this. So SCVs do keep dying inside this main base. Not a crazy amount, but definitely a few. Some more Marines unloading. How many Liberators have died so far? 5, almost 6 Liberators have died. Oh gosh, that is very risky. And the Medivac is gone. The Marines do get the Liberator though. WickedBot is now getting up a 6 base. We are getting Thors on the way for ANIBot, which is very exciting. So yeah, we'll just see whether WickedBot is going to be able to overpower its opponent. What's the barracks count right now? 12 barracks is not an insignificant amount. We do have a lot of bio just chilling for WickedBot though, as it seems to just be sitting, maybe bugging out a little bit here. As yeah, we do have a Medivac just flying in circles at full energy, so it's probably been doing that for quite some time. ANIBot was debating going for a move out. We're getting some Liberator harassment now, so WickedBot will have to respond to that, and the Vikings are going to move to shut that down, and they do a good job of that. Meanwhile, the bio is starting to wake up for WickedBot, so that's actually good to see that it's not just trying that non-stop, and is sending out some more units for a drop. And oh man, this is a big drop from WickedBot. I mean, this is going to be like 6 Medivacs. If this actually coordinates well, it could be very powerful for the Terran, as it just keeps loading up drop after drop after drop. And it's not very coordinated though, as we're getting some very interesting logic from these Medivacs. Still though, the drop in the main is going to make ANIBot go wee all the way home once more. The SCV behavior from ANIBot is pretty good, running them to safety. We do have a drop actually finding a Thor of ANIBot, or I guess the Thor finding the drop. The bio of WickedBot is quite scared of this and not engaging. I do wonder why that is, as the bio stims, but it is respecting the Thor a little too much. There we go, it groups up, does decide to go forward. The 3-3 upgrades definitely help out, and we're having the big engagement here as the bio stims on forward, but there's tanks at the back really shelling the Terran army. There's also a lot of supply in Vikings for WickedBot, which are not helping out in this fight really. So the bio has a very rough go of it. WickedBot's going to need to turn that marine printer on and remax as well as possible. Marauders are picking off some of the Cyclones, but that definitely hurts WickedBot. It will need a moment to rebuild its army. It does seem though that ANIBot is going on home and then just building more Thors. It'll be interesting to see if the tank count for ANIBot remains the same. I'm worried that if it potentially loses the tanks, it will transition away from them. But there is big potential here. We do actually have some drops going down, Human might have realized they could potentially have unloaded on those tanks, but there is Hellions and Cyclones respawning, so it would have been a bit suicidal, actually. But can a drop make it to the main base again? That's the question. We do have a lot of Vikings for ANIBot on deck, though, and they could very easily shut down this drop. That would really, really hurt the blue Terran, and the drop is actually canceled, as it is not safe, and that's the right decision. Mass Vikings now are starting to pick off the critical medivacs of WickedBot, so those will need to be rebuilt. Both of these bots are maxed out again. It is 3-3 bio against 2-2 mechs, so the upgrades are decent for the bio player. Vikings are skirmishing 10 against 5, though, so WickedBot will not do well there, and it looks like it's going into a very bad choke point against Hellions and Siege Tanks. Massive amounts of splash damage, cutting up the army of WickedBot. It does pull on out, but it's going to lose pretty much all the medivacs, it seems. A few Cyclones will trade out for pretty much all of the bio that is left. And yeah, WickedBot just needs to really start pumping out these units once more. We are getting the famous ANIBot triple Thor hit squad moving on out. There's notably no building armor on top of these planetary fortresses, so they could be vulnerable. And then the rest of ANIBot's army does seem to be joining this attack. Cyclones coming on in too could be causing problems. And yeah, that base gets canceled. WickedBot is sending all its Marines to battle. It's only been able to produce 31, which, when you're running them in sort of single file into tank fire, is not ideal. There's some medivacs to support, but +2 tanks deal quite a bit of damage. We have a base floating over. That's going to be killed. This planetary is being repaired, but there's not many SCVs here to do that job. And this is where we're going to see unit pooling potentially be very important. Can WickedBot sort of build up a force and handle this? Because I think it definitely could, but not if it's just going to stream units out into the tanks, into the Thors and Cyclones of ANIBot. And yeah, this is not looking too hot here. This is the double-edged sword, because some bots have combat simulators that are overly that'll sort of make them pool units to a point which they'll never get in certain situations. Whereas WickedBot is kind of being the opposite of that right now, just sending all the units it produces at its opponent. WickedBot still has a decent amount of money. It's repairing a bunker. The bunker actually, I think, has a Marine in it. Unfortunately, Thors pick those off pretty darn quickly. And let's see, there is a bunker actually building over on the other side of the map. I guess WickedBot wanted to expand here. But again, we are just seeing units run out into tanks, into Hellions, single file, which is not great. And I mean, some of the Hellions are going on down. WickedBot is sending units home to be repaired, so that's removing some of the buffer for this. But yeah, WickedBot's bank is gone. I think I just heard the click of a battle cruiser teleporting. Yeah, that one teleporting home to safety. And it looks like ANIBot is going to take this game. Yeah, it's unfortunate, because I think there was still a chance for WickedBot to win the game if it just sits back and pools units, because again, like, ANIBot's army is good, but with 200 supply of bio moving on in, I think it very well could have overwhelmed the Terran army, or if there were, pardon me, overwhelmed ANIBot's army, or if there was, say, a counter drop or something, that could have been big. But WickedBot had just lost its force, and then trying to defend the bases, it says all hands on deck, which is good in certain situations, but in this situation it was not good. We have so many mules being dropped on this base. That is a lot of money being brought in for WickedBot, but I'm not sure its production is remotely enough to handle this, seeing as how it's mainly just building SCVs because they keep dying. And yeah, ANIBot will take this one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you watched up until this point, go ahead, click that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as we put out daily videos here on the channel. I don't have as much time these days to do the shorts or anything like that, but I definitely do enjoy doing these long casts. And yeah, if you do want to support the channel, maybe you've watched these videos for a couple years now, or even longer than a couple years, and you can consider becoming a YouTube member. There's various perks you can get, and the join button for that is down below. Vikings slacking, as the base does indeed get cleaned up after a little bit. If you guys are curious about programming your own bot and you want to give it a shot, I cast a bot that was new on the channel just the previous video, and if you want to see guides or anything, go to aiarena.net. Then you can also join the Discord for AI Arena, and there's lots of people who are more than happy to answer questions and help you out. They won't program your bot for you, but they will help you out, and yeah. I recommend it. It's a very fun project. I can speak to that after my little stint of programming a bot. I'll definitely try and give it a go once more. Who knows what I'll do over Christmas break. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning on in.